Good morning, folks. Good morning. I am the Reverend Ed Proulx, and I am the minister here at Emerson, this beloved community of faith and hope and reason. And welcome on this beautiful Sunday morning. For those of you who aren't actually in Houston, it's actually nice here today. It's wonderful today. So thank you for coming. It's good to see all of you all. I am joined this morning by Jill Rose as our worship associate. Jill also serves this congregation as its office volunteer and member of the choir and a member of the investment committee. Did I get? That's about it. Yes, that's all. Thank you for being here with us. So I have a couple quick announcements this morning. Beginning on Wednesday, your social action team will provide news alerts asking you to contact your Texas and national representatives and senators on legislative bills affecting our core justice priorities of 2025. These justice priorities of 2025 are the environment, economic justice, and bodily autonomy for women and LGBTQ Americans. So please check your e-blast, and that will help you direct your attention to the appropriate legislator. Lunch bunch today is, so in your order of service, it says that lunch bunch is at Le Madeleine. I don't know what happened. Lunch bunch is canceled this week because we have a congregational meeting after the service. So for everybody who is a member of the church, I invite you to stay afterwards for the congregational meeting. And between the service and the congregational meeting, we will have coffee in the gathering place. One last announcement, a couple announcements here. Each Sunday, I want to remind you that each Sunday our lay pastoral ministry team, we call them the LPMT team, is here. If you need to talk to somebody as a result of the service or for any other reason during the week, you can see an LPMT team member and you can notice them by their blue name tags. Yellow name tags. There's a couple here, they have their hands up. So just approach these yellow name tag folks and say, hi, I'd like to talk to you. And if you are still new around here and would like to get to know more about us, you can fill out the yellow card in your pew back. That will put you on our mailing list, and we just ask that you fill out both sides. So we have a busy day today. We have a very busy day today, but what else is going on today is that Artem will be performing a concert, which he invited you to, for Rachmaninoff. It is in Colombia, South America, so it's a little bit of a drive. But we are going to get a dress rehearsal today for Artem's Rachmaninoff concert in Bogota, Colombia. Is that all right with you? Yes. I thought it might be. So, with that said, I would like Artem to bring us into the formal part of our service with our prelude, which is, I believe, a Rachmaninoff piece. Yes, okay.
Thank you, Artum. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for us to be your practice concert audience. As we gather together in community, we look within ourselves and to each other for strength, restoration, and inspiration, so that as we journey together, we catch the spark of the eternal Spirit, and from that spark, we light our chalice flame. Lighting the chalice flame symbolizes to all that the spirit of our congregation is strong and that our will to transform ourselves and the world is also strong. We light the flame with gratitude. We light the flame in memory of all who have gone before and in honor of all who are here now, and with joy for all who are yet to come. And just as a brief aside, this is a day to be nimble. This is the third person I thought who was going to light the chalice. As Margie Elliott lights our chalice flame here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you joining us from home to light a candle or chalice of your own. We celebrate Poetry Month here at Emerson. We hear the words from a former member and a former member of the poetry group here at Emerson, David Bates, and his poem, Chalice. Please join me in reading these words together as they appear on your screen. Come, celebrate the dancing flame, there, but not there, ancient and eternal, fleeting and gone, now flickering again, teasing, enticing, always changing, always the same. Mysterious energy, summoning wisdom, tickle our minds, comfort our anxious souls, delight the small children, and shed your light on the darkness as you sing your silent refrain. Our little flame, the atoms dancing, connecting us with all that is, all that has ever been, all that ever will be. As we work to create beloved community, we welcome all who would join us in building a better world with more love, more justice, and more peace. We welcome all who would join us in growing in mind, heart, and spirit. We welcome all who would join us in tearing down systems of oppression of all kinds. We welcome all who would join their purposes to ours in a loving spirit of right relationship. Please join me in our welcoming words, and again, the words are on the screen. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on your life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, you are welcome here. And now we will have our presentation of this week in Unitarian Universalist history with Richard Cummins.
Thank you, Jill. Good morning.
Good morning.
For the week of March 31st through April 6th, I've selected a couple of very interesting items from the book of UU History by Frank Schulman. On the 2nd of April in 1805, the Universalist storyteller Hans Christian Andersen was born at Odense, Denmark. A successful novelist and poet, Andersen is best known for such fairy tales as The Little Match Girl, The Ugly Duckling, The Snow Queen, and The Red Shoes. Andersen's novels included The Improvisatore, 1835, and The Two Baronesses, 1847. In 1842, he wrote The True Story of My Life. His poetry won him the patronage of King Frederick VI of Denmark. And on the 3rd of April in 1822, Edward Everett Hale was born in Boston. He became a teacher and then a minister, serving at Church of the Unity in Worcester and the South Congregational in Boston. He was an influential leader and helped to strengthen the denomination's organization. During the Civil War, he was prominent nationally as a patriotic leader and voice of the public conscience. A prolific writer, he achieved literary fame when his story, The Man Without a Country, was published in The Atlantic, 1863. Hale was also a skilled orator and had a fine intellect. He was for many years a leader in the Unitarian Sunday School Society, serving on its board of directors. As tensions rose at the end of the 19th century, he began working for international peace. In 1903, the U.S. Senate elected him chaplain, a position he held until his death on June 10, 1909. And I would like to add that our wonderful pianist, Artum, you don't have to go to South Carolina to hear him. On April 25th, here at the Russian Cultural Center, which is at Bissonnette and Kirby, he will be performing a Rachmaninoff concert. His last concert at that location was spectacular. The website is www.ourtexas.org to get tickets to that event. That's Friday, April 25th. Reverend Ed?
So you told me about the one in South America, but failed to mention the one
in South Houston.
Yeah.
I'm too nervous.
Thank you for Richard. You're too nervous.
Columbia.
Get out of here. You're too nervous. It is important that we as a congregation stand and recognize that our history is a shared and harmful history. Our congregation's buildings are situated on the home of the Karankawa and the Atakapa peoples, who for at least 2,000 years before European settlers arrived, lived here and thrived here. And those European settlers nearly brought about their end. We recognize, uplift, and support Indigenous voices and communities in our work as a congregation. And now, each time we are gathered, we hear the words from one of our 6 sources of Unitarian Universalism. Today, we hear the words of American poet because it's Poetry Month. It's April. It's Poetry Month. So if you like poetry, this is your month. There's going to be a lot of poetry in every service. And as we've started out with an Emerson poet being our chalice lighter this week, this month. And this week we hear from the second poem in Poetry Month is Emily Dickinson, who was born in 1830 to a wealthy Massachusetts family, and she is known for her individuality and rebellious attitude. Here is her poem, the second poem in Poetry Month. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin into his nest again, I shall not live in vain. And now, my friends, with our chalices lit and our hearts and minds centered, we invite you to join us. Join your voices with ours as we celebrate by singing a hymn. You may stand or you may stay seated, however you are comfortable, but whatever you do, please help us sing Morning Has Come. welcoming new members into this community is one of the most wonderful things that a minister can do. It's one of the things that I most like to do as a minister, because it's one of the most wonderful things that a congregation can do, is to welcome new people. Today we welcome 6 folks who have committed themselves to the purposes of this church. Our purpose, our reason for being, is written on the front of your order of service every week. I want to just point it out to you in case you maybe didn't know it was there, but it's right there on the front of your order of service. It says, "Our beloved community of faith, reason, and affection welcomes all to grow in mind and spirit as we build a better world." I didn't write that. Nobody in Boston wrote it. You wrote it. You did. That's what you said you are here to do. That's what you said your reason for being is. It is such an important statement. So members of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church, I'd like to ask you, first of all, let me introduce the 6 folks. And I don't mean to draw attention. They're not all here, I don't think so. I don't want to draw attention to you. If you want to stand up or wave your hand, go ahead, but you don't have to. We have Richard Cummins. We have Janice Gibson. Is Janice here? No. We have MC Swearingen, who's in the back. Linda Richardson, who I did see this morning. Linda. Ron Joe, who I did see this morning. And Robin McDowell. Is Robin here? Robin is here. Robin, wonderful. So, members of Unitarian Universalist Church, let me ask you about your commitment to these new members, okay? So we're not talking to the 6 of y'all right now. We're talking to the rest of y'all. Do you, members of Emerson, commit to working with these new members to live out our promise of building a beloved community of faith? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." I do. And do you, the members of Emerson, commit to welcoming and inviting these new members to live out that purpose of building a beloved community of reason? If you do, please say, "I do." I do. Do you also commit to welcoming, inviting these new members to live out our purpose of building a beloved community of affection? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." I do. And lastly, do you commit to welcoming and inviting these new members to live out our purpose of growing in mind and spirit as we build a better world? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." I do. And now, y'all new members, now I am talking to the 6 of you. Now there's only 6 of you, so you may have to put a little emphasis behind your "I do." Do you accept their invitation to together live out our purpose of building a beloved community of faith? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." Do you accept their invitation to together live out our purpose of building a beloved community of reason? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." Do you accept their invitation to live out our purpose of building a beloved community of affection? If you do, tell them you do by saying, "I do." And lastly, do you accept their invitation to together live out our purpose of growing in mind and spirit as we build a better world? If you do, please tell them you do by saying, "I do." I do. Thank you. New members of Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church, on behalf of all the members, all the friends, all the staff, and everyone here at Emerson, let me be the first to formally welcome you into this work. Welcome. It's good to have you here. We have prepared a small gift for each of you. You don't have to come now, but at some point before you leave, we have the world's tiniest chalice, which you will need in those times when you want to set aside time for yourself as spiritual time at home. They also come in handy on Zoom meetings. When someone says, "Does anyone have a chalice?" you can say, "Yes, I have a chalice." And then your new minister is not a book-writing fellow, but thankfully your old minister was. So I have a book of collected sermons here from Frank Schulman for you, and as well as some other little trinkets, including a business card of mine so that you always know how to get in touch with me. So you 6, could you pick one of these up on your way today? And that is a gift from everyone here at Emerson for all of you. Welcome. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. And now I invite Jill Rose to bring us into our offertory.
Emerson collects an offering each week, like many other communities of faith, but our offering is not for our church, which is supported by annual pledges of our members. We collect our Sunday offering to give to others, because we know that giving is both a transformative spiritual act and an important way to live our values. 75% of today's offering will go to our April's Share the Plate recipient, Texas UU Justice Ministry. And I would remind you all and people who may be new to the group that this was an initiative that started actually here at Emerson Church, and there is a plaque, I think it's still there, in Westwood Hall along at the entryway there from the side that says the names of the people who actively participated at that time. And now we move into TXUUJM, okay, Texas Unitarian Universalist Justice Ministry. I think we see those initials so often we sometimes forget that this is really what it's about. TXUUJM advocates for public policies that reflect UU values and principles. They are the state action network most Texas UU churches belong to, and it organizes, facilitates, and supports activities such as rallies at the Texas Capitol, lobbying legislators in person and electronically, UU the Vote, support for LGBTQ, transgender, and immigration rights. It also closely collaborates with like-minded partners on social justice. The remaining 25% of today's offering will go to Interfaith Ministries, Meals on Wheels, which provides thousands of meals every day to Houston's homebound seniors. You can go to our webpage for online giving, put a check or cash in our offering basket, or mail a check to the church. And I see that children of the congregation have already left for their class, so I will just carry on from there. Thank you very much. Rev Ed?
This is the time in our service where we take a moment to meditate, pray, or just remain and feel connected to the world around us. And we are doing that this month through poetry. This poem comes from Yung Wang, who is currently a cosmologist. I don't even know what that is. A cosmologist at the California Institute of Technology. And he wrote a book called The Book of Mirrors. The poem is called Liebestraum 2. A Liebestraum is a dream of love and is the name of a set of solo piano nocturnes by Hungarian romantic composer Franz Liszt. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear this poetic interpretation of the nocturne, and then Artem is going to play a piece. I guess they're very long, right? So you're going to play a piece of one of Liszt's nocturnes. So here is the poem by Mr. Wang. Every pruning healed becomes an eye. Sunlight plays the leaves, each a pool of green incandescence, a window to the heart. Every wound, a hieroglyph, each whisper, a new chord. Come inside my radiant dream. A phoenix fruit ripens unseen.
This poem comes from our Emerson Poetry Group's collection of poems, Volume 1, published in 2010. This poem is by Inka Stroud and is called Look to the Wonder. We know not if we are the only favored ones spinning through space on our blue-green garden, lush with life. Climbing a trace of stardust from creation, we tremble with fear and cling to our heritage as first children of the universe. But deep in our souls, a voice cries out, "Be joyful, rejoice, and give thanks for the joy of the now, for the living present that weaves its magic roundabout and suspends all past and future doubt with a glimpse of the holy. Rejoice in the mystery where the earthbound and the sacred intersect, and there grace may be found, unfolding like a prayer."
I I forgot to mention that the volumes of poetry from which a lot of our readings are taken today are available for sale in the bookstore. And this is some good stuff. I did not have to supplement much, and I think it was 15 poems that I needed in a month. So some of you who submitted to this are sitting in this room right now. This is good stuff. And I would suggest that you, if you like poetry, read it. And if you don't like poetry, read it. It's good. I'm not a poetry person. This is not me doing this. This is April's Poetry Month, a tradition that I started in Florida. And I don't even know why I started that. I can't remember. But it just works. And then when I saw you all had your own volumes of poetry, I said, aha, now we're definitely doing Poetry Month. So today we are talking to new members, the 6 of y'all. You have joined this church at a time of turbulence and transition. The life of this church, the life of Unitarian Universalism, the life of Houston in the Final Four. A little clapping, yes, thank you. The life of Texas, the life of these United States, and even, yes, the life of this world. Here in Texas, these United States, and in our world, it seems everywhere that what's good for me has become more important than what's good for us. What's good right now has become more important than what's good for the next 7 generations. Governments across the planet have allowed themselves to become rigged to benefit a smaller and smaller class of richer and richer people on the backs of the poor, on the backs of what the Bible calls the least of us. And I want to point out, and I want to make it clear to all of you sitting in this room right now, no matter how rich, wealthy you might be, no matter how wealthy or well-off you might think you are, I am not talking about you. You're in it with us, with everyone else. As your rights and the rights of the least among us are sucked away, and as we are left bare to an unconstrained government, many of us find ourselves praying. Not praying because we think prayer is some sort of cure, like God is the cavalry who will come charging down a hill on a herd of white horses, but because we don't know what else to do. And you have chosen to come to this church now, at this time, in the midst of all this ambiguity, with all this institutionalized hatred, and all this celebration of greed. You have chosen to come here now. What a wonderful choice you have made. This place itself finds itself in a liminal space. This church is trying to discern its path from its past to its future, working hard to build that beloved community we all dream about. Through that work of discernment, we are guided by Unitarian Universalism, which itself has recently gone through a fundamental change. This fundamental change benefits all of us as we weather these storms together, Unitarian Universalism has begun the slow process of changing its identity. This church, all of you, were busy during the time that a lot of this happened. So this church is playing a little catch-up there. And what I'm talking about, of course, is the Article 2 revisions. The work that was done recently on the 7/8 principles of Unitarian Universalism. This church was busy. It was busy looking for a new minister. It was busy going through rapid changes all on its own. But this 5-year process that the Unitarian Universalist Association undertook ended in 2024, and it was a shift away from what we call our principles, which you can find printed in your hymnal, and a process and a shift to what we are now calling our values, which you can find on the back of your order of service if you're interested. I will tell you that when I first heard about this process, I was conflicted. I said, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've got the 8 principles, 7 principles, depending on which church you were in. They're fine. What do we need to work? What do we need to worry about? What do we need to do? And then and as a professional, I started paying attention to this process. And what happened was when the process got going, early on in the process, the commission, the team of people who volunteered their basically life, because this was a lot of work, to work on these principles, they came out very early and said, you know what? I think we're going to shift from principles to values. And that caught my attention. I said, wait a minute. I had never thought of that. I thought they were just going to tweak the principles, change a few words here and there, because that's what they'd done the last 2 times they did something. They just changed a couple words here and there. And they were important words. They got rid of male-centered language, and they added the interconnected web. They did a lot of very good work, but it was small work. This, when they came out and said, we're moving to values, this was a big deal. This was a huge change. The shift from beliefs, which was the principles, to values really interested me. And it interested me because I am kind of a churchy kind of person, right? I left my career to become a minister. That's how important church was to me, is to me. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons I did not want to become a minister was because of something that you probably never think of. And that is that ministers never go to church. We're always here. We're never there. And being there was very important to me, to the point where I thought about, I considered that might be too big to give up for me. But I kept going, and I did it. So as a churchy person, when I heard this shift of values, I thought, okay, I'm interested. And I started this discernment process. I started listening. I started paying attention. I had trust in the people who I'd never met, by the way, to do this process for us. And I came to a point in my own discernment process about these values where to me, these values did something that was fundamentally different. Yes, they embodied all of what we had in the principles, plus they ask humanity's most important religious question. Do you remember, I've told you this before, do you remember what humanity's most important religious question is? Now what? That's humanity's most important religious question. Now what? And these values do something to me. They might not do it to you, but they do to me something that the principles didn't. They ask that question of me personally. They say, oh yeah, now what? I believe in the interconnected web of all existence. That seems like a whole, complete thing, right? I believe in the interconnected web of all existence. I value interdependence. I value interdependence seems to beg me to ask myself, so what? Now what are you going to do? And it begs that of me in a way that the principles never did. The principles, the other thing with the principles that always sort of like worried me a little bit is I never really heard anybody disagree with them, right? They're hard to read and go, yeah, I don't think so. They're pretty agreeable things. And I have heard non-Unitarian Universalists disagree with them for other reasons. But Unitarian Universalists, I've never been in a debate society to debate the value or the reason behind the fourth principle or the second principle or whatever. So this whole process, including this addition of this last little rib, this last little now what thing, this is important. This is important to Unitarian Universalism, and it's important to the world. If these are my values, interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, and if all of these values really are grounded in the spiritual practice of love, it begs the question, now what? What does my life look like? When I carefully reflect on my actions, am I acting like someone who really values these things? If someone were to look at what I did last week or what I'm going to do this week, would they be able to guess that I am living a life centered on these values? I don't know. I like to hope so. But I don't know. And then when I ask the question, is everything I do centered in the spiritual practice of love? I don't know. I like to think so, but I don't know. Before this change, before this move to values, it seems so much easier. Do you believe in the search for truth and meaning? Well, of course I do. Who doesn't, right? That's that hard to argue with thing. I believe in the search for truth and meaning. Oh yeah, no, I don't. Who says that? And people do say that. I don't mean to discount the fact that people do say that, but people here don't say that. And we answer, we say, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And it's complete. It's done. It's nice and packaged. It's perfect, right? But Unitarian Universalism has chosen to challenge me. And I'm assuming it has chosen to challenge some of you too, but I don't want to speak for you. And it is challenging me in a way that it has not challenged me before, in a way that helps me to confront head on all this ambiguity, all this institutionalized hatred, all this celebrated greed, and all this man-made turmoil. It is chosen to confront systems built on some spiritual discipline, because you are building your systems on some spiritual discipline. It's just a matter of which one. And if that one's not love, I don't know how you can function. And it is chosen to confront these by asking you to confront them first in yourself and then in the larger world. It is a fundamental change in the way we Unitarian Universalism interacts with our culture. And you have chosen to come to this church right now, at this time. Welcome. Welcome to Emerson. Welcome to Unitarian Universalism. You are here at a wonderful time. You are here just in time. And we hope that this beloved community we all long for sprouts wings and flies here with you and with us all together. Amen? Amen. And now I invite you to sing. If you want to stand, please stand. If you want to stand or if you want to stay seated, I invite you to sing our second hymn, which should be familiar to you. It is Blue Boat Home. I failed to mention at the beginning, first of all, did I mention that the poetry books are for sale in the bookstore? I did? Okay. Just wanted to check. I also failed to mention that the auction committee is still looking for donations for the auction. So we need to make this a robust thing. So if you haven't yet donated something to the auction, would the auction folks please raise their hands? Got one here, one there. There's more, but please just see them. And there's all kind of wonderful things you can donate that I know you have or you can create. And Artem, when is this concert here in Houston? April 25th. Okay, and where is it again?
Sorry?
Where?
Russian Cultural Center.
The Russian Cultural Center. And what time? What is April 25th a Sunday? It's a Friday. Oh, okay. I don't like recommending you go to things on Sunday because then you won't come here. And I wish I'd thought about that before I mentioned. I think there may be a bunch of Unitarian Universalists there, Artem. You going to be okay with that? Each time, folks, we come together, we move We move with the words we hear. We move with the music we hear. We move with the light of the chalice, which, like us, flickers and flutters from side to side, moving constantly, yet tethered to its source. We extinguish this chalice now, not as a symbolic ritual, but as a practical ritual. We do this because the flickering, fluttering light of our congregation is carried with us here, all of us here present, those of us not present today, those of us who left this community long ago, never to return, and those who have yet to arrive. And as Margie extinguishes our chalice for us, I'd like to say to everyone who joined us online today that we are so grateful you are here. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you. You know what I mean. It's good that you're here. We appreciate you being here. And we will be terminating our service to you at the end of the postlude. For everybody here, we will have the congregational meeting immediately following, not immediately following, we're going to do a little coffee break first. So 15 minutes following, come back in here for the congregational meeting. If you're a member, we welcome you to come back for the congregational meeting. If you're not a member and just like a glutton for punishment, we welcome you to come back to the congregational meeting as well. And we welcome you now to remember that in the course of our week to come, may we be able to feel the liberating freedom of this religious past we share. May our gods welcome us. May they challenge us to live up to our own expectations of ourselves, wherever and whatever those may be. And may the world around us light up so that we may see our way back to clarity and wholeness. Amen.